All right, we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to talk about a lot in this stream. Okay, so the first major thing that we're going to review is what happened yesterday's Fed meeting, okay, and why this is important for crypto. Everybody's talking about this online, so I want to catch you up on this, tell you exactly what you need to know, give you my perspective on this. Okay, we're going to look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in our space since yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe. Turn notifications, you'll find out about this whenever you go live. We're going to answer some of your questions and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice for you. I'm not telling you to buy or sell any cryptocurrency based on this information. There's lots of scammers down in the comment section below pretending to be me. I'm never going to ask you for like an investment on YouTube. Never going to give you my phone number. I'm never going to track you down on a social network and try to DM you to get you into like some secret chat room to, you know, give me cryptocurrency as some weird investment. Never going to ask you to do paid promotions either on my YouTube channel. I see that a lot now. People are like, hey, you know, send me a Bitcoin and I'll make you a YouTube video. It's like, that's not happening. So anyways, watch out for that. So, anyways, got people jumping in the chat here. We got Automatic Beats, David Stone, Crypto Hulk, Scott, Regular. I hope I'm saying that right. Made you look again. Made me look. Did make me look yesterday when they said I had no audio. Matthew, THX like this. Kim Alden, technically. So let's go ahead and jump in here. Let's talk about what happened yesterday at the Fed meeting and why it's important for crypto, entire blockchain space. So I'll go ahead and preface this by, you know, saying I am not a macroeconomist. I do not pretend to be one. I do not pretend to be an expert trader based on, you know, decoding what the chairman of the, you know, Federal Reserve says in a meeting, right? I'm a technologist, but I understand that this has a pretty important impact on the space that I serve and have expertise in, and that's why I want to give you my opinion on this. So try to approach this topic with humility, but try to just call out what's important and what you can, you know, use for your further investigation, and just take my opinion on this specific topic with a grain of salt, because it's a little bit outside my area of expertise, but it's important. All right, so anyways, so we have seen a lot of, you know, panic in the markets lately, from, you know, cryptocurrency markets to the stock market to everything, because there are lots of reasons, but one of the major reasons is concern about what the central bank of the United States is going to do with, you know, its monetary policy. How is it going to treat the money supply? I mean, we have a strong, you know, strong influence over what, you know, investors think and what they think is going to happen in the future, and investors make decisions to buy or sell, allocate resources, whatever, based upon that perceived direction, okay? So that's one of the reasons we've seen, you know, crypto markets going down lately. We had, you know, some response to the Fed, you know, worry about what they're going to do. So we had some clarity on this yesterday. And I guess my general opinion on what happened yesterday with the meeting, it's sort of like there's some good news and there's some bad news, okay? So a lot of people were going to this meeting yesterday worried that, you know, the Fed was going to come out and have some really strong, overt language that was going to just send the market straight into the toilet. Okay, I mean, they already kind of are, but making things even worse. So that didn't happen. And one of the positives that came out of this was basically that the you know, from the minutes, the Fed confirmed that it's going to, for now, leave interest rates unchanged. Okay, so you can definitely follow me on Twitter. I retweeted this out yesterday as soon as it, you know, came out. The Fed minutes gets released slightly before they do the public, you know, stream, basically. So, you know, we saw this as it came out. Basically, the Fed votes to leave rates unchanged for now. Okay, but as you know, we kind of went on with the you know, the meeting, people start asking questions about, hey, like, what's going to happen? You know, we saw you got to get used to these things. Like, there's a special term called the Fed speak, where it's sort of like the Fed's language is like kind of wordy and intentionally vague around a lot of different things. It's been happening for, you know, years and years and years. There's a special word for it. Harkens back to like 1984 with like double speak, all that type of stuff. But anyways, that's kind of what you get. Is like you get all these questions about like, hey, what are you gonna do? Like, when's the next like we avoided a lot of questions like, are we going to get double rate hikes in the future? We didn't get clarification on that, right? Are they going to be more aggressive when the rate hikes come? We don't know the answer to that question. It was very vague about sort of the attitudes on, what they're going to do. Like they're just not going to tell you. So, in that regard, no news is not necessarily good news. Like no news, people kind of perceive to be bad news, or at least that's what they want to prepare themselves for. So that's why I say there's good news and bad news from the meeting. Is like we have good news that rates going to remain unchanged for now, which in the short term, makes people not so just like catastrophically bearish or apocalyptic or doom and gloom. But we don't have this good news of like, oh, we don't have to worry about anything anymore. Everything's just like up only from here. So kind of caught in this middle zone. So maybe let me talk about one potential outcome of that scenario. I don't know that this is going to happen, but this is what I would say be a potential outcome of this scenario. Is that essentially that makes things really choppy for a while. It may be still somewhat bearish, but we don't have this clear sentiment on what's going to happen. And so the markets would potentially reflect that, where we're stuck in this range for a long time. And I mean, you could even argue that Bitcoin's been in a range for a very long time, okay? I mean, if you look at CoinGecko and you just zoom out 1 year, you could say that we're basically in a range from 30,000 to about 60,000 with a little bit of statistical variance, right? You could argue that it's not really a big, long bear trend. I mean, you could say this is a bear trend, but if you zoom out on a higher time frame, maybe that's what it is, okay? And, maybe what we saw in the minutes would continue on with that pattern of that psychology. So, at the end of the day, it's one of those things that can go up, down, sideways. My opinion, nothing about my viewpoint of this space and where it's headed and what causes the cryptocurrency prices to go up fundamentally over time in terms of valuable technology and network effects and supply and demand. None of that's really, really changing over the long term. It's just in the short term. People kind of, cryptocurrencies have these periods of getting overvalued and then undervalued. And it feels to me like we're undervalued relative to trend right now. That's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy in. I don't know what your financial situation's like. I'm personally not adding more quite yet right now because I don't know what's going to happen in the short term. So, that's what happened yesterday. That is my interpretation of this. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It's a little bit outside my area of expertise, but it's important for this space. People are talking about it, and that's what you need to know. So, in terms of long-term outlook for the space, we're seeing more the upside potential in these crypto assets is still being measured and talked about despite the short-term price action. And we'll talk about that here in a minute, but let's just see here. So we got some spammers in the chat. Awesome. Somebody's talking about work on the Capstone project. Very cool. So, let's talk about this here, okay? So, like I said, the upside potential for these crypto assets is still being measured over the long term, okay? So, ARK Invest, famous ARK Invest, just released a report saying Ethereum market cap could exceed $20 trillion in the next 10 years, okay? At a $20 trillion market cap, ETH would be worth $84,000. So it's like some people may think that's too optimistic or too excessive, right? So let's just cut that in half and say that ETH, makes becomes $42,000, okay, over the next 10 years. So what the ETH price right now about let's just for easy numbers, say the ETH price hits a bottom at like $2,100, right? And then you get like about $2,000, right? Like that would be insane X, right? So, and that's what I'm thinking about with crypto over the long term, right? So basically, it's like that kind of upside profit potential doesn't exist in many other assets that you can just get on the market and buy unless you have really special skills of like, creating a business, or you are able to do private equity deals, or you have the skills to like, flip a multifamily apartment complex or something like that. Like you're probably not going to get those returns some other way. So that's why I'm still, bullish on the upside for some of these crypto assets long term. And again, a lot of it's driven by network effects. It's not just, these prices are going up magically. It's because ETH is the epicenter of where a lot of the innovation's happening in the crypto space. Okay. And it has a lot of promise for being the change with maximum decentralization, which the market is going to care about long term, all right? Not just people who are chasing short-term gains for new coins, in a casino, right? But we're talking about technology that is going to use big decentralized infrastructure that, massive companies are going to potentially build upon, or massive DAOs are going to potentially build upon. We want that credible neutrality, okay? And so that's one reason I'm so bullish on that ecosystem. So, another good thing on crypto, and then we'll move on to some more real specific tech-related stuff, is that yesterday we did see this come out, all right, on CoinDesk. So Tesla reports Bitcoin holdings unchanged in Q4, okay? So this has been a big question mark for people. It's like, hey, did Tesla cash out of their Bitcoin position, when prices started going down? We don't know yet necessarily in January, but as of Q4 in 2021, the answer is no. Okay. So if you weren't here, basically last year, I want to say it was in January or February, maybe. Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin for its balance sheet. I can't remember what the average buy price was. Maybe it'll tell you on here somewhere. But people have been worried that that 1.5 billion is, kind of getting close back to its buy-in price, and they might be getting kind of nervous. But as of now, we see no changes there. And so that's, goes on to the theme of institutional adoption of cryptocurrency, basically institutions coming in and buying crypto, and how that can be good for the crypto market, because basically they can buy in size in a way that retail investors can't, which can move the needle for crypto prices a lot faster. It's really hard to get a lot of individuals to buy $1.5 billion of crypto. It just takes one institution to do it, and that's a huge, huge pressure on the market cap. Okay, so let's talk about some stuff that's come out of the metaverse yesterday. So we definitely saw this. Let's see, we got some questions in the chat here. So may ETH overcome Bitcoin? I think it can long term. I don't think it's going to happen like anytime soon, but definitely I think it can. And if it does happen relatively soon, I don't think it'll be permanent. Okay, so talk about metaverse for a sec. So basically, we saw this come out yesterday. Oculus is now MetaQuest. So I saw some people kind of cringing at this rebrand, saying that this was not a good idea. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below if you like the new rebrand from Oculus to MetaQuest VR. So if you don't know what this is, basically Oculus is the VR headset, okay? That was the I can't remember if Oculus started outside of Facebook and Facebook acquired them, or if Facebook created Oculus from scratch. I can't remember off the top of my head. If you all know, let me know in the comment section below. But anyway, currently, as of a week ago, Oculus was one of the brands under the Facebook umbrella of companies. It's now the Meta umbrella of companies. So, Facebook's making a massive bet on the metaverse in the future. Okay, basically saying, we're going to change our company name from Facebook to Meta. Now, the app is still called Facebook, but the parent company, which is Facebook Inc., which owned Facebook, Oculus, Instagram, WhatsApp, has now become Meta to focus on the metaverse, and Oculus was one of those companies underneath it that makes the VR headsets, and now Oculus has become Meta Quest as part of this umbrella of companies. So somebody says that Oculus was acquired by Facebook, so I guess that is, we'll go with that for now. Like I said, I can't remember. It's been so long. So, I mean, they are pushing on with this in full force. So we talked yesterday, I think, about how there's a lot of skepticism about, the metaverse, of course, that, that there's the idea that Meta, the company, knows that the future for metaverse is way, way, way away, but they're pushing hard in right now in this direction to basically dissuade other people from getting into it to compete with them. And I think that makes sense. It stands to reason because they have a lot of resources, they have a lot of money, and they want to do as much as they can to have a massive stake in the metaverse, as big a one as they can. And an easy way to do that is just get other people out before, they decide to jump on board. Now, that being said, there's going to be huge opportunity for people to come in and create the metaverse, to be competitive, to offer experiences that, they don't want out of these big, centralized services. Now, that being said, it's a really tricky position because we're starting to get in these use cases of blockchain technology like metaverse and gaming that take a massive amount of resources and time, all right, in order to create products that are valuable to the end user, okay? So let me give you an example and how it's different from what we have in crypto. So it's not that hard in the grand scheme of things to launch a cryptocurrency. Now that the Ethereum platform is out there and you have smart contracts, like, creating an ERC20 token is a solved problem. Like, you can launch a cryptocurrency in an afternoon, right? And have a bunch of people using it. You can launch a DeFi protocol in an afternoon because a lot of the code's open source. You can fork it if you're a good developer. You can change the settings, get it out there, and you could have $100 million in liquidity, like in 24 hours, right? Like, that's not that hard to do on the grand scheme of things. Now, creating something of lasting value is a big challenge in and of itself, but starting is not that hard. So creating a metaverse world that has all this like 3D stuff that like actually looks cool inside of a VR headset or has some sort of augmented reality thing, that's a lot harder than forking a DeFi protocol, okay? So same thing for creating a video game that rivals the experience of like a AAA game studio. That's a lot harder than launching an NFT, for example, okay? So that's one of the reasons why this is important. Facebook getting in here and, creating this thing early, it makes it really hard for other people because who wants to spend the kind of money they're spending doing this kind of stuff? Not many people. And, it's a lot. It takes someone really big with a lot of money to compete on that level. Not many people probably want to spend that kind of money to do that. And then it's really hard for people who are smaller than them to create something meaningful that could rival those experiences as well. So, they are a force to be reckoned with, whether you like it or not. So, that being said, I mean, the metaverse has captured lots of people's attention. Okay. So, we have, the Turkish president orders ruling party. Ruling party. It sounds like I'm, from the north, or like talking about a potty. Turkish president orders ruling party to study and explore the metaverse, according to Cointelegraph. Okay. So, this has captured the attention of a lot of people, including, governments including massive corporations. It's really, really hard to be bearish on this space, even though we don't know exactly what the metaverse is going to look like in the future. Okay, this makes a lot of people uncomfortable that like we're having a bunch of money poured in this space, making a massive bet on a technology that we're not totally sure what's going to exactly work. But that's kind of the nature of nascent technology. You see the potential, you don't exactly know what's going to stick long term, but you are making a bet that something probably is going to come out of this that has enduring use cases that can expand far beyond the initial version. That's what we saw with crypto in the beginning of 2017, 2018, 2019. It has grown to that next level and it continues to have these leaps forward. And metaverse feels a lot like crypto did back in maybe 2017, 2018. I mean, it's hard to frame the exact timeline and draw parallels. There's always a temptation to say this thing's going to work out exactly like that thing. It's really just an analogy. All analogies break down at some point. So you could say it's this year in crypto, that year in crypto. It's the whole point is there are very strong parallels to crypto in the early phase. And I actually saw the Electric Capital report yesterday. It's been out for a while. Let's see here. About the developer report, looking at how new ecosystems, form. And there's some things to be said for this in crypto networks in general. Okay, so I've got a video coming out about this. Definitely check it out because I think there's a lot of insights for developers. But basically, the whole point is we're seeing like new ecosystems grow a lot faster than the first version of the ecosystem. So what do I mean by that, for example? Like the Ethereum ecosystem is the largest ecosystem for smart contracts for developers, everything, right? But if you look at, the metrics for Ether in terms of active users, right, active developers, all that type of stuff, the new networks are growing faster than Ether was or Ethereum in its early days. So like after 1 year, the other networks grew faster than Ethereum did. Now, that being said, that stands to reason because the entire crypto space is bigger than it was when Ethereum first started, like 2015, 2016, okay? So that stands to reason, right? So that being said, you could compare that similarly to the metaverse. Like just because the metaverse is like crypto was in 2016, 2017, maybe 2013, whatever year you want to start from, right? There's so much more interest in the space now that it can grow faster than those trends did. Like it doesn't necessarily take 5 years for it to reach the certain level. Now that being said, it has this added level of complexity of all this, sophisticated visual experience, which is really required for the metaverse, or at least Facebook's version of the metaverse that they are sort of hyping up to really come to fruition and be viable. That part's really hard. Same thing with crypto gaming. Now, let me see if I can find this report. Okay, so yeah, this is a report from Electric Capital. Like I said, I've got a video coming about this. So definitely subscribe to the channel. But I want to call it a couple quick insights on this. So basically, they surveyed the developers across crypto ecosystems. They were able to analyze, public commit history, and did a pretty good job on this. And they talked about like different technologies and how they're growing and how the ecosystems grow. So I'll pull some of this up. All right, so let's see. There's a lot of slides in here. There's like 130 slides, so I got to find exactly which ones I want to look at here. I'm trying to like zoom really quickly. I can just share my screen, show you what I'm doing so that you're not just in the dark here. Okay, so I think we're getting close here because I'm about different ecosystems. So you can kind of see. All right, here we go. All right, so basically, if you look at developer growth indexing by creating for the first commit. So, here's the Ethereum ecosystem, right, and its lifetime and trajectory. This is an indication of is the monthly active developers. So, I mean, the Ethereum ecosystem is like just, it's parabolic in terms of developer growth. And you can see, I mean, this is the real value of monthly, active developers. So actually, this is not, I don't know if this is to date. Yeah, I think it's about to date. I can't remember. Yeah, I think this is to date. Anyways, so you can see here's where Ethereum is. All right, here's where other ecosystems are, but it compares them to their, a meaningful starting point. And you can see that, some of these ecosystems grew faster than the ecosystem did initially, like Polkadot, for example, or Binance Smart Chain, right? Some of them are tracking pretty similar, okay? But you can really like zoom in and see what this is. Now, some of this stands to reason, right? Because like Binance Smart Chain, this is a fork of Ethereum. This was just like it kind of saw its wave rise to prominence in the middle of a massive bull market, okay? A really frothy bull market where everybody realized that we could just take ETH contracts and fork them and put them on Binance Smart Chain. And so it's all this explosive growth, all right? And it's kind of stayed there. And the same goes for some of the other ones. Like these big rises kind of coincide with hype cycles, and they don't die off. It's just that it kind of has this bubble, and then they continue to grow. So definitely check out that video. I mean, common thread is almost all of these ecosystems are EVM compatible. So if you can develop for Ethereum, you can develop for all these. Most of them. So the last thing I'm gonna put on your radar here, we're seeing some news about this and some FUD, which I think anybody with half a brain who can read, can easily see through this. But we say a lot of people spreading around fake news that like Ethereum 2.0 is not going to ship because the Ethereum Foundation is looking at rebranding ETH 2.0. Okay, Ethereum Foundation wants to go from ETH 2.0 to ETH 2. All right. So basically, the roadmap has changed a lot. Let's just go. So tactics have changed since the Ethereum 2.0 roadmap was first developed. Developers are changing their terminology to reflect these shifts. So the good news for developers is that next time someone, usually a reporter, asks them when Ethereum 2.0 is coming, they'll answer never. Right? So this is like where the FUD comes in. People think it's not going to ship, that it's a rug pull. So is that bad news? So basically, they're saying they announced the term Ethereum 2.0 is being retired in favor of consensus layer. Which I don't know how helpful that is, but we'll see. The rebrand reflects the fact that what's been called Ethereum 2.0 is really more of a network upgrade rather than a whole new network. So to be sure, some major things are still set to change. Ethereum is shifting away from proof of work to a more scalable proof of stake chain, and mining, which is high power computers connected. You know what mining is, right? Whole point is the roadmap is not really affected. It's just what they're calling it is changing, and that's confusing a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, ETH 2.0 is never gonna come." It's like, this is not true. So let's see, we got a couple questions in here. Somebody says should have taken profit. They're saying when it doubles, take some profit. That's one strategy, that's for sure. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time,